G'day guys, my name is Trent, aka LaxLime, and I have Week 9 MPL, or Major Pokemon League Battle, for you guys today. We're up against the San Francisco 49Tales, also known as Byser. He's really tough. His draft is tough, and unfortunately he has many pokes on his team that I have a lot of common weaknesses for. So this was actually going to be a really tough battle. When I was doing the calcs for all of it and trying to work out what I wanted to bring, I was really scared, and I was nearly pulling my hair out to try to work out a way to beat him. So you know what I did? I did what I know how to do, was build a team that he probably couldn't predict and try to throw him off. But Bowser is a good player, so it was going to be really, really tough battle from the get-go, really. And I knew it was going to be really epic because he's tough. But you know what? His link will be in the description below. Go check him out and his channel. It's good stuff. You know, if you liked it, tell him Lax sent ya. But I will also apologise in advance, because I've been sick lately and sort of struggling to record. So if I cough throughout this, deal with it, because I've got deadlines to uphold. But we will get into the battle. It was actually really, really intense and a very good battle. So Bowser actually leads off with his Donphan. And you know what? I was so close to leading off with Keldeo, but I just couldn't do it. I thought if he does lead off with Donphan and I get the Keldeo out, I'm just going to put an enormous amount of pressure on him and it would work really, really well. But I didn't, because I chickened out. But I went for the knockoff. I just wanted to knock off its leftovers because I was predicting he was going to go for the Stealth Rocks. And then easily now I can sort of just come out and go into my Keldeo just to sort of start putting on that pressure. But he does actually switch out himself and goes into the Gallade. Now, Glade, I know, will be carrying, like, you know, Zen Headbutt or something along those lines, because I do have a Mega Venusaur, you know, in my team, so that would make perfect sense for him. But I do end up decided to predict that, going out into my Cresselia, who is just going to be able to eat this up, like, no problem. Now, Glade was actually a real problem. I was super, super scared about it, because I was like, I don't know if it's Choice Banded or Choice Scarf, because a Choice Scarf variant would wreck me. So I was really, really nervous. I'm usually able to just start setting up some screens at this point. Most of his team is actually like physical hitters, so I just decided to actually just set up the Reflect at this point and go for the Trick Room. Because my plan was to hopefully go into Emboar and start really, really dinting his team with a Trick Room Emboar, who, by the way, is a monster under Trick Room. Like, I never knew this. It didn't like quite get a massive show in this battle, but it is a monster. When I was looking at it, I basically found two Pokemon that really, really dint his team, and that was Emboar and Magnezone. So I had to try to keep these guys around to really put offensive pressure on him. He does switch out into Glade. Glade isn't going to take any attack from Emboar, not with his Reckless ability, but he does make a double here. Goes out into his Diancie. He might have just been burning some Trick Room teams. I'm not really sure, but go for the Flare Blitz. It does really nothing, to be honest, and I can easily just go for the Iron Head. Now, going for the Iron Head on the next turn was super, super risky, because we actually speed tie under Trick Room. I'm negative nature plus 0 IVs, but we still end up speed tying with Diancie. I was lucky enough to actually win that, but if I didn't, it would have went really badly for me. So I'm able to take out Diancie, so that is one super big threat out of the way. Now, he can easily go into his Slowking from here, because, like, Slowking's definitely going to beat me in Trick Room. So I have to switch out, and I thought my best bet is to actually just go out into my specially defensive wall, which is my Latias, and just sort of take the attacks. And I really wanted to get rid of those rocks, because the rocks over time can really, really dint me. So I just decided, you know, I need to go for the Defog on the next turn, get rid of them, and then, okay, alright. You might think I'm silly, but I'm also running Tailwind on this team. So it's a Trick Room Tailwind team. As I said, I was building something to throw him off, and I thought it'd work. So Trick Room Tailwind into Magnezone, who is Scarfed, outspeeds his whole team, and it can do some work. It is difficult to execute, because when I'm Scarfed, I'm sort of locked into an attack, and I sort of need the versatility. However, it was worth the risk, I thought, anyway. I just went with it because I hoped, like, it would work. So I do make the switch out here and end up going into Landorus, because I was super scared of the superpower, so I didn't want to go into Magnezone just yet. He ends up just going for the U-turn, and it does make the switch out into Slow King. Slow King obviously has the Ice Beam, and Ice Beam is, yeah, it's gonna wreck. It's gonna wreck Randerous. So I need to switch out. I'm gonna go for the U-turn because it will damage him a lot, and I was super shocked about how much that actually did. And, you know, Zone is the perfect guy to go into now because he's going to go for Ice Beam, and I'm going to resist the hell out of that. So the Ice Beam, yeah, it comes as I said, and yeah, eat it up, whatever. Zone's just like sitting there. That was a crit too. He does switch out, and I decide the best thing I can probably go for is the Flash Cannon because it sort of hits everything neutrally the best. I get it off, and that does a decent chunk. That was a lot, but the Tailwind runs out here, and I got so nervous that this thing was scarfed that I decided to switch out and go into my Latias to sack it off. He does make that prediction pretty well, and well, most of my team is weak to ice, so the Ice Punch does come through. You know, I hang on, which is great, and at this point I was like, oh well, Latias is down, but I ended up outspeeding, so I was like, oh my god, this thing is probably banded. It's banded. I could have just killed him before with Zone. So now it's like perfect opportunity now to go into Zone and start, you know, hurting his team. So that's exactly what I did. Flash Cannon comes through, and that does, it's like, dead. Yeah, get out of here, Glade. Get out of here. Then he goes into Sraptor, which is a big problem because a close combat will kill me on a roll. I go for the Flash Cannon knowing I'd outspeed, and I get the crit. And I'm so sorry for that, because that crit totally mattered, because that should have only done about 80%. And he could have potentially killed me with a close combat. So that really mattered. And at that point, that was his win condition, and I took it out. So with a crit. So I'm sorry, you probably got a little bit salty about that. I can easily just go Flash Cannon again. He ends up going for the U-turn, probably predicting that I was going to switch out. But I decided to stay in and keep it real. At this time, I know that I can't really do much to Magnezone because I'm locked into Magnezone, or Slow King because I'm locked into Flash Cannon. So I decided I'm just going to switch out to Cresselia. I'm going to start putting up my screens again, just as a little bit of safety net, so I get a little bit more, you know, durability out of my pokes. So I decided to go Light Screen for the first turn, and then he ends up going for the Scold on the second. He does end up snagging the burn. It doesn't really matter, but it, you know, I guess he could have some hacks too, because that crit was a bit rude of me. Switches out on from the Slow King and goes into Miami, which I'm okay about, because that means I can get up my Reflect and actually just hit this thing again with an Ice Beam, which is going to do a decent chunk amount of damage to the Donphan. So, I do go for the Ice Beam, and it does a considerable amount. Like, it's in range for Keldeo to actually just clean up with a Secret Sword. So I'm happy, because that sort of hits everyone neutrally the best. Yeah, so Cresselia goes down. I am going to make the switch out into Keldeo now, and I'm going to go for the Secret Sword. I always forget them, like which one it is, but the Secret Sword. Sorry. So, you know, Donphan is down. Miami Donphans are down to the Washington ShedSkins again, and I'm just going to keep Keldeo in and just keep him going for the Sacred Swords, because it didn't look like it had too much defensively invested, so I thought it'd probably do a decent chunk of damage. I'm going to be able to survive the Psychic at least, because of the screens that are up, which are now wearing off on this turn. He does make the switch out into the Sizzle here. I thought here that I was really confused, but I can understand the play. I think he was playing a little bit risky, but I think that's probably what he needed to do to probably come back in this game. So he's only got the Slow King left at this point, so the best bet for me is just actually sack off Keldeo, get as much damage as I can off, and yeah, sack off Keldeo, because yeah, then I can just easily bring in Zone and take him out. So Keldeo goes down, that's okay. We're still in a really good point here, and I can just come into Zone and clean up this game. Unfortunately for him, however, I do go for the Thunderbolt here, and he lives on like Slither, like 1 HP, and then gets paralyzed. I was like, oh no, that's so bad. And he gets the para hacks as well. So it probably should have been a 2-0 victory in my favor, but it ended up being a 3-0 victory. Which is, you know, like here and all there, really. But you know what? Taking Byser down actually puts us in a really good position now to get very close to making the playoffs. I'm, super sorry about all the hacks. I feel bad because I don't feel like it was a sort of a fair game. Like that crit on Sareva would have really didn't matter and could have potentially changed the game a lot. But it was still a really, really good battle, and I really did enjoy it. Definitely support the MPL, support Byser, watch his side, and get behind everyone because it's some really, really good battles. And I'm actually really, really enjoying this team building stuff. It's phenomenally fun. I know that sounds really lame, but it is really fun. That's pretty much all from me. So all the stuff and links will be in the description below. If you'd like a chance to battle me, hit me up on Twitter. It's really that easy. And that is all. So I will catch you guys next time.